Is retirement boring? I know a lot of people whose biggest fear about retirement is that they're not going to have anything to do. In fact, some people just put off retirement and decide to just keep working until they can no longer work because they're worried about being bored. So, in looking at today's budget, I thought, we had kind of a boring week. So maybe it'd be good to talk about boredom in retirement today. Hi there, welcome to our channel, Overthinking Retirement. If you're new here, my name's Temi, and this channel is a channel that my husband David and I put together to talk about retirement and our journey as we try to figure out what we want our retirement to look like, and also just kind of cover some budget things for anybody who's curious about how the budget looks in retirement once you no longer have as much income coming in. So we've started a budget challenge where we are trying this first year to only spend $120 a day while we try and figure out what we can do financially and what we want to do with our time in retirement. So, is retirement boring? Well, I think the answer to that is probably yes. But a more nuanced question is retirement more boring than pre-retirement? And the way I would answer that is no. I would say for me, retirement is less boring than when I was working. There was a lot of predictability to my days when I was working. There was not a lot of freedom about how I spent my time when I was working. Every minute was pretty much taken, and anytime I wanted to do something for myself, like read a book or play a video game, it always felt like it was getting taken away from something else. Like, well, maybe I should be cleaning the house, or maybe I should be making a grocery list, or maybe I should be calling a friend to do the social things that I know I need to do in order to have an active friend base. But in retirement, I don't find those same struggles because I have so much more time. Now, in terms of being bored, though, I really feel like it's a personal thing. I do not like being bored. I think as a whole in our culture these days, we have a very low tolerance for being bored because we just have so much entertainment all around us. I actually think that being bored can be a good thing, and it's probably not a bad thing to try to develop a little more tolerance and patience for just sitting with your thoughts and doing nothing. But for me, I have boring weeks, and I have weeks where I'm very active and do a whole lot of things. And I found that I was the same when I was working. So I think some people just have a lower tolerance for boredom, and they also maybe just aren't as good at finding creative things to do with their time so that they're not bored. Life in general is kind of boring most of the time if you think about it. If you think about it, boring is good. Usually if there's something that causes drama and excitement, well, you're not bored, but often it's not a sustainable way to live. Like, you wouldn't want to live at that high level of drama and excitement. And so, most of us probably spend 80 to 90% of our time doing boring things, just our day-to-day things. So it's worth spending some time thinking about your day-to-day boring things and finding ways to make them more enjoyable. So for me, I actually kind of enjoy doing boring things. Like, I don't mind housework. If I have time to do the housework and I don't have to feel rushed, like I have to move through this and get to something else, I actually sort of enjoy the monotony of folding laundry, the monotony of doing dishes. So planning your life so that the major portion of your life, the things that you have to do, and finding ways to make those joyful experiences for you, like that's worth doing because that's the majority of your life. So I also enjoy planning travel and vacations and seeing new things and some of these very exciting types of activities. But that's not, I don't think that's how I would want to live my life all the time. I don't think I would want to travel 365 days a year. I enjoy my boring routines here. And so this week in the park, it was just kind of a boring week here at what we call base camp. We cleaned, we decompressed from a road trip that we had the week before. We did some of our normal daily routines like exercising and meeting with friends and um, just having our coffee. I love to have my coffee out on the deck in the mornings and just have a little prayer and meditation time. So, yeah, my life in retirement might be a little bit boring if I'm honest most of the time, but I don't find that to be a bad thing. So, yeah, think about that. Leave a note in the comment if you have any thoughts on being bored and what you do to keep from being bored in retirement. But yeah, so this week, going over the budget for our $120 a day challenge. We always start with our main expenses. So we were at base camp all week. So we had our $29 fixed expenses, which is just our insurance broken down, our cell phone, our yearly expenses divided by 365, and then our expenses for maintaining our membership here at base camp, which is it's like a 29-year lease, so we can be here well into our 80s, but we have a certain amount we have to spend every year to maintain the overall property where we live. So that's $16 a day. So on Monday, that's the only expenses we had. So our total for the day was $45. On Tuesday, we went grocery shopping and we spent $73 there at the grocery store. We also had to fill up on gas, so that was $87. We bought some new clothes, again, probably for our cruise. We're planning a cruise in a couple months, and so we're getting ready for that. We spent $48 on clothes, and then we went out to dinner and had some pizza and beers, and that was $37. So our total for Tuesday was $290. On Wednesday, didn't do too much either. We went and picked up a prescription for $10. So our total for Wednesday was $55. On Thursday, again, stayed home, did our boring little things that don't cost any money. So it was $45. And then on Friday, we went to the home improvement store and bought a chainsaw. We have some trees that are getting a little overgrown, and we aren't allowed really to do a whole lot in the forest around here just because it's a lease. It belongs to a Native American tribe. So we can't just go whole hog and take down trees or anything like that. But we are allowed to do a little bit of trimming. So that's what we did with the chainsaw. And our total for Friday was $126. On Saturday, again, all we had was another prescription, so that was $10, bringing our total to $55 for the day. And then on Sunday, we didn't spend any money. So it was $45. Our total for the week was $661. So after our expenses last week were pretty high, and it brought our spending bucket, our extra money bucket, down to $1. This week we spent less than we were allotted. So we were allotted $840 with our $120 a day challenge. So we had an extra $179 that we can add to that bucket. So we have a happy bucket, and we ended the week with $180 in our spending bucket. So that's it. That's our week 13 spending. I hope you enjoyed following along with us as we spend our money and see if we can meet this challenge. Next week, we expect to have another boring week, so hopefully we won't spend too much money. And yeah, I'm so far really enjoying the flexibility of this retirement gig and not having to rush around all the time, and just enjoying the day-to-day routines, which is easy this time of year because the weather's lovely and there's a lot of things to do in the Pacific Northwest when the weather's lovely. So thank you for joining. If you enjoy this type of content, please do like, subscribe, and leave a comment of any of your thoughts. I like hearing from you. It feels a little weird. Feels like you're speaking into the void when you're making YouTube videos sometimes if people don't comment. So if you have a thought you'd like to share, I'd enjoy hearing it. And I will see you next week. Until then, I'll be overthinking.